Oops, forgot the sound. Hey, True Believers England team here. Can't ignore this one. I wanted to talk about this. I invited the crew, so whoever comes in, but can't ignore this one. Let me see. Anthony Mackie kind of put himself right on the hot seat here, and here you go.
For me, Captain America represents a lot of different things, and I don't think the term, you know, America should be one of those representations. Like,
okay, so what gets me here is he just said, and this is amazing to me. It's amazing, these people who are the stewards of these characters, right? I mean, we've seen it in comic books. They do not own these characters. They are the stewards. The first rule should always be do no harm. You know, write your stories, make Captain America Nazi, but at the end, Captain America can't be a Nazi again. And by the way, that story sucked. He said right there that it isn't that Captain America doesn't represent America, that America should not be in a term that describes Captain America. Yeah. It doesn't get better there for this guy. Here we go.
It's about a man who keeps his word, who has honor, dignity, and integrity.
Okay, now right there, okay, it's not American. It's about honor, dignity, and integrity. So these are three, judging by what he's saying here, these are three attributes that cannot be described as American.
Someone who is trustworthy and dependable. You know, it's kind of, this is kind of like an aspect of a dream coming true. You know, when I was a kid, you know, all of us as actors, I believe, wanted. Also,
trustworthiness, not American. The guy just continues to foot and mouth disease. So here we go.
Get back to that day before someone told you no. When you look out your door and you see a 5-year-old kid with a stick and he's slaying dragons to save the princess in the tower, that kid really believes there are dragons out there. That stick is really a sword and he's really trying to save that princess. And then one day somebody told him, no, there are no dragons. That's not a sword. And that princess is not there. And all of his little dreams were dashed. So, you know, as an actor, I feel like.
Okay, this is just growing up also. I mean, we stopped playing with swords because we realize, yeah, it's kind of a childish game. I get it. You want to use your imagination, but nobody tells you no. You just grow up. You grow up and you stop playing those games. Or do you? I mean, I've got to tell you, I'll drive down the street and I've got also, if I'm in bad traffic, my car starts flying over it. You know, you don't have to stop using your imagination, which is what he's talking about. I'm pretty sure somebody out there had somebody tell them that no, you're not supposed to be using your imagination. But
our job is to get back to the day where we see that dragon and we slay that dragon to save that princess. And that's kind of what this movie was for me.
Okay, so this is just part of something, and this happens quite a lot. So somebody clip that. It's not part of the full thing. We'll get to that in just a little bit, thanks to Bounding into Comics. But what he's talking about is, of course, and what he's going to be talking about is the fact that when you're an actor, you don't have to put away the imagination. You get to be whatever you want. However, the main focus and what everybody's pointing at is how the f are you going to be playing Captain America and not think that American ideals are part of this? I had a debate with Nerd Wonder. Hello to Henry and hello to Dark Admiral. I'll get your comment in just a second. I had a debate with Nerdette. Did I say Nerd Wonder? No, Nerdette. Nerd Wonder is awesome as well. And we were talking about, goodness gracious, now I lost my train of thought because I went too many places. Okay, talking about this, an American, boom. Okay, yeah, no, I'm sorry. I just completely lost my place going too many different directions. They can call him Captain America all day. He is not Captain America. He's just Falcon. Unfortunately, they don't see value in that. I have a lot of different live streams and videos where I point out the folly in making Falcon Captain America. Of course, they just say I'm racist because you, in a racist mind, You cannot relate to a black person if you're white through anything other than race. They did that with Obama. They do that when you point out making the first African-American Marvel superhero, you put on his friend's clothes and call him something else, isn't a celebration of that particular character. And then they call it a promotion. Falcon, you're not good enough unless you put on your white friend's clothes. And that's what he was. Falcon was not a sidekick. This isn't Nightwing becoming Batman. Falcon was his own character. He was the original Marvel Protector of Harlem. And they think the only way to make him not only popular, but the only way to make him relevant is to slap on his white friend's clothes and give him his name. Don't do it under his own identity, because that would be racist. And for sake, I've been called racist for saying these exact words. It's amazing to me. So yeah, Falcon should never have been Captain America. Now, okay, yeah, maybe he changes his outfit to honor his fallen friend or retired friend or whatever. Okay, but you call him the Falcon. You call him the Falcon, you let him have his own identity. Okay, but that's that part. Let's get on to the fact that for the past 11 years, at the very least 11 years, I always mark it as Marvel all new, all now, all suck. It has been just, we have not had the same stewards that we had before. Even some of the older crowd is jumping on this whole woke train that has been destroying comics. Oh, and you could say, oh, that word's been used too much, blah, 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 blah. What it is what it's always been. Redefine it. I know a lot of people use a lot of different terms, putting race before story, before character, before everything else, putting the message, as that drunken guy says. That's what woke is. Making it identitarian. That's what woke is. And that's been Marvel. Now, Stan Lee used to say a couple of things before he got really old and headed towards senility, when Marvel and everybody else started using him like a puppet. But he used to say a couple of things, and one of them was, you do no harm. Like I said at the beginning, you do your story, you can have all sorts of changes within the story, but you kind of got to go to a default setting at the end of the story with a few changes to carry on. And that's the way it should be. Like, let him put on the Captain America outfit, but you have him find out the same way you have everybody find out when they put on the cowl. There is only one Batman. You know, you have Falcon put on that Captain America suit only to realize that his true identity is all he needs, and that is his true strength, and that's the Falcon. Let me see. You can be creative in different ways, like fashion and so on, says Undead Quinn. And yes, he is Falcon. Falcon was a great character on his own. And yeah, but you're a freaking racist for saying so. They gave him reskinned white character. Exactly. England team, that is not a great comparison. Nightwing Robin is not Batman, even if he wore his costume. Okay. Point being is that he was the sidekick. So it's a different thing that he's been trained in. So it's a more natural progression. Best friend deciding, no, I'm going to take my And this is why I try to get somebody else on the channel while I'm doing this. I don't know why my computer started dropping all the time, but I try to get somebody on here so at least they can try. Disney just Black Bag D. Yeah. Okay, so there's more to the story. He did say that. Like I said, that's just that is just one part of the panel. Let's go. Boom. Remember when Captain America became Nomad? He had no faith in America, so he changed. And the whole story was, you find faith. What, and by all means, you want to start into a way a lot of people, a lot of the politicians, a lot of the people who pundits and such who are speaking about American dreams, about America itself, are just get it wrong. Actually, a lot of people calling them patriots get the American dream wrong. All right, so it goes on to say, recalling his time filming Falcon and Winter Soldier, Mackie asserted, "I've worked so long in this business. I've done so many things that I felt were not appreciated or overlooked, or think, first of all, let me get this. There's no dragons, blah, 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 and all of his little dreams of dash." And that's where the clip ends. So I think as an actor, our job is to get back to the day when we see dragons, slay dragons, to save the princess. And that's kind of what this movie was to me. He goes on to say, "I've worked so long in this business and I've done so many things that I felt were not appreciated or overlooked, or things that were not considered to be worthy of promotion. And this is like my first promotion." No, it's not. And that's another thing. They're trying, and you get called a racist if you point this out, but Captain America, they should not be thinking of it as an approach. How are you not the racist ones by saying that it is? I mean, I get it. The character is more popular, but I don't know. The fear of representing a country who doesn't represent you, that's horseshit, by the way. And that's been horseshit for a long time. And this millionaire is talking, okay. My dad always used to say greatness is as far as you could see it. There are limitations that we place on ourselves because of our surroundings. And, you know, I did that to myself, and that's definitely what Sam Wilson goes through. And your dad's right. It is a personal choice always to believe the narrative that black people can't do anything because of their skin color. And look, I get it, because for the 54 years I've been on this earth, I've been hearing work hard and you could achieve your dreams. And all I've been hearing about black people is they can't do it because of their skin color, something they can't change. It's really different. It should be noticed that despite Mackie's apparent implication that Captain America is an enforcer or defender of given political administrations, it's not. The original Marvel Comics have long held the hero, or at least the Steve Rogers incarnation of him, instead stands for the basic ideal of freedom that exists at the base of America's identity. The greatest book, the greatest document, the greatest of anything for Captain America should be the Constitution. And yes, he should go after politicians, Democrat, Republican, or independent, that defy that Constitution. That should be, you know, it's what's the creed, God, country, God, core country, or something like that. That's Captain America. For example, when seeking answers from higher ups in the American military as to the identity of immersed psychopath known as Nuke in Daredevil at the Born Again. Let's see, attempted to dissuade him by digging any further by praising his commitment and loyalty, only for Rogers to firmly fire back, "I'm loyal to nothing, General, except the dream." Also, by the way, a lot of people get the American dream wrong. There is no promises in the American dream, and that's one of the things I think that makes it honest. A lot of people say, oh, the American dream is to have the house, the wife, the 2.5 kids, and a car in the garage. That's not the American dream. The American dream has always been to govern yourself. That's the American dream. This is the great experiment. This is what has never been tried and still is not tried. Look at one of our biggest allies, if not the biggest ally in the world, is Britain. And look at the way they oppress their citizens. It's that the American dream is to govern yourself. First individually, of course, then locally, and, you know, and it works its way outward from individual, city, oh my gosh, I can't, county and so forth, state and so forth. And that's the way it should govern. Unfortunately, people lose sight of that and they try to make the federal government bigger, which should be the last of them, you know? Okay. Let's see. Remember when, like I read that one, and he also Hollywood, LIBM, they go to hate America if you're not off brand, and they want the black people on the plantation. That's why Black MAGA Con is shamed. Yeah, that's true. We've been hearing for a long time now about how black people who have stopped being Democrats, they get it worse than anybody. All right. So anyway, it says likewise in What If, Volume 1, number 44, writer Peter Gillis explores an alternate timeline where Captain America is revived, not in the 1960s, but 1980. By the way, great book. The whole run of original What Ifs are incredible, but that is a really good book. So discovering that the man currently wearing his mantle, William Burnside, was using it to help install an oppressive far-right regime across the United States. Okay. people didn't like Reagan because he changed things. Eventually, bringing Burnside's reign of terror to an end with the help of Spider-Man and members of the Black Panthers during a publicly political rally, Rogers convinced the confused public of his identity by explaining the true meaning of the shield. Okay, here we go. Listen to me, all of you out there. You were told by this man, your hero, that America is the greatest country in the world. It is. He told you that America is we're the greatest people in the world. Some are. That America could be refined like silver, could have the impurities hammered out of it and shine more brightly. He went on to, no, you're never going to get the perfect America. He went on about how precious America was, how you needed to make sure it remained great, and he told you anything was justified to preserve that great treasure, that pearl of great price that is America. Well, I say America is nothing. He then, without its it is nothing without its ideals, its commitment to the freedom of all men. America is a piece of trash. A nation is nothing. A flag is a piece of cloth. I fought Adolf Hitler not because America was great, but because it was fragile. Now, there is a good saying by Reagan about how we are just one generation away from losing the entire thing. And I think we actually saw the beginning of it in the Biden administration as he dismantled America. And we saw even our young people, a lot of college kids were against free speech. You get rid of free speech, you get rid of that First Amendment, and we're done. We're done as a free people. Look, once again, look at England. It's amazing. That, by the way, I haven't got, am I still on? Because I haven't got any comments since Undead Quinn, and I'm worried I dropped now. When I returned, I saw that you nearly did turn America into nothing. He ultimately concludes, and the only reason you're not less than nothing is that it's still possible for you to bring freedom back to America. Unfortunately, if you let it go, it is going to be tough to get back because, thank you, Dark Admiral, because we will have to fight. We'll have to fight again. We get rid of our freedoms, we'll have to fight again. But I think this article has gotten away from the Anthony Mackie bit. But just to finish, he says, you followed a leader in this garb once. He led you into evil. I won't have you exchange one piece of cloth for another. I can't do horrible damage. You've let fall America. Even now, men are dying in the street for that cause. And the war for liberty is starting. And that's something that I've actually had discussions with my own family because I've said that my life nor the life of my children are bigger than the American dream, that are bigger than we can govern ourselves. And when you say that, yes, my life and sacrificing my life and the life of our children, you're kind of saying big words there. But I truly believe this is the last bastion. And if we give it up, it's gone. I do believe that Captain America does stand for something. He stands for that American dream. He stands for the dream of self-governance. And that is true. And now getting back to the movie part of this, getting back to that, Americans don't really believe in freedom of speech, says Black Dream Hunk. Yeah, look, hey, I agree that a call to action you should be held responsible for. I do. But I think that there are, I wouldn't say Americans because that means all, but I would definitely put some in front of that. I know that there are some people who they will say, oh, you shouldn't be allowed to say that. Why? You know, or there was this really stupid workaround where people would say, you're free to say what you want, but you're not free from the consequences. In certain places, you should be. And they did point out, you know, Twitter at the time, Twitter was a private company. Okay, no, it wasn't. It was publicly traded, by the way, and it was built to be the public forum. Therefore, you should have freedom to say anything. YouTube, same thing. But you have people afraid to, when they're talking about the most heinous crimes in history, they're afraid to say the word rape because YouTube might demonetize them or it's going to be harder to share. I think that's one thing you should never do. You should never soften crimes like that. It's a horrible, horrible thing. And you've got people trying to do a workaround and make it softer for YouTube. No, fuck that. Screw that. No, I refuse to bend the knee. And yes, I've been shadow banned. And my videos don't get shared out as much as they used to. But you stand, what's the saying? You stand for something or you stand for nothing. Say what you will about the whole Comicsgate thing, but I've never compromised what I believe to make more money, you know? And that's actually something that a couple of OG CGs didn't do, you know? Yeah, maybe I'm poorer for it, but I feel better. So let's get back to the movie of this. So Anthony Mackie comes in and he says what he says. And he mentions, by the way, if you continue his speech, he mentions how he couldn't see himself as Captain America because it's always been white. If he ever got into a superhero movie, he'd be the guy that goes, "Oh, there's Spider-Man," and I think that's on him. I'm sorry, but if you see things as that racist, that's on you. I was once talking to just some guy, and I said, I think racially, by the way, black people have low self-esteem, not individually. I mean, you got individuals are a whole different ball of fish, but racially, you have some people who believe that there, like I said before, there is no way that you can relate to something except for through race. And if you are not that, then you're not represented by that. You can't see the ideals. A lot of people can't. I'm not saying all. And I think those are the people who free themselves from that kind of trap that the actual racists put anybody who's not white, and even trying to put some white people into. It's ridiculous. The original Captain America was black. Well, they had to rewrite that. The original Captain America was Steve Rogers. In continuity, of course, they with Isaiah, what was the name? Isaiah Washington. Of course, they kind of pointed out a little bit correctly that they would have experimented this super serum on other people, and wouldn't black people kind of fit? Okay, so anyway, the original Captain America was black, just like Sunspot was black. The original artist made Captain America black, just like Sunspot was black. Why did Marvel make these characters white? Yeah. So actually, I thought Sunspot was always. I would love to see the work on this one. Not arguing, not fighting. Just I would actually like to see the paperwork on this one. Cyclops is white and has brown eyes, brown hair. Somehow he's my favorite character in all of Marvel, says Rhaegar. Also, I love Captain America, green eyes and blonde hair. Neither look like me. Never even cared. I think that's when I was a kid, I loved Luke Cage. Okay, you know, I thought it was fun as hell. Guy in a freaking yellow blouse with his freaking chain and everything. Sweet Christmas was a badass saying. It's just a lot of fun. And I don't know, but here we go. The problem with what Anthony Mackie ultimately said is, what kind of Captain America movie are we about to get? I took my glasses off and now I can see is that I'm like vain as hell. What kind of Captain America movie are we about to get? You know, we've heard so many times, well, we're making Kingpin, he's going to be Trump, and that turned out not to be. You know, this guy's going to be a stand-in for Trump. You know, good God, please stop. I mean, in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I said it right for the first time. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier with that whole "do better, sir." I'm sorry, those fuckers were blowing up buildings. They're not the heroes here. Thanos was not right. He was killing half the fucking universe. These idiots with this moral ambiguity. No, the terrorists are terrorists. Were they put upon? Okay, fine. Yes. Does that mean they have an allowance to kill people or to destroy buildings, take out people's homes? No. Do better, Senator. Go yourself. It was horrible. It was horrible then, and now I'm wondering if we're just not going to get more. Now I'm wondering if this is just, oh, you know, you got to answer to the far right wing because there's Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. A Captain America movie they keep refilming. I know, like they did reshoots just last year. I was like, and I was thinking, okay, you know what I think this is? I think they're going to try to tie Harrison Ford into being Trump. That's what I was thinking. But then I thought, yeah, but of all the reshoots, are they really going to get Harrison Ford, or is Harrison Ford just going to tell him, go fuck yourself? You know, it's Harrison Ford, you know. If he doesn't want to freaking reshoot, he ain't going to reshoot. It's always bothered me that they changed Thanos' original motivations, not this overpopulation. Now I can be a simple farmer BS. Well, that did happen, by the way. I do remember that scene with the farm and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. But yeah, it is. I'm worried about the Captain America movie we're going to get now. It's kind of ridiculous. We've seen it. We've done that. I mean, Marvel, Walt Disney, it's the same, you know, Disney. It just seems like they just can't let go. They can't make simple movies anymore. They can't just make a comic book anymore. You know, just entertain us. We don't need to be lectured to. We don't need to be preached to. Just entertain us. You know, they try to make it more than what it actually is. It should be a good, fun superhero story, you know? Google Marvel Sunspot was Black SNF. Google Isaiah Bradley is the first. Yeah, I know who Isaiah Bradley. I said Washington. Isaiah Bradley, I know who they are. I know who Isaiah Bradley is. I've been reading comics for since 1974. And obviously you can't, that's a stupid statement because you can't read everything. I've never read quite a few comics, but those I did read. His original motivation was to impress death. I know, right? I get that they have to tell the story with the characters that they have, but you're right. They didn't have to change his motivation. But what they wanted to do was climate change. And that's basically it. Now, I love Endgame and I love Infinity, goodness gracious, Infinity Gauntlet or whatever, War, whatever it was. But I get why people, after I reread the Infinity Gauntlet, the comic, I went, yeah, I could see it now. I can see why people were pissed that they changed it, because the cosmic battles alone, you know, that one issue where he fights all the cosmic entities. Yeah, I could see it. I understand why you feel cheated. It's like when they change a character's race and they go, well, you're just a racist for no. We wanted to see this character, and some of us have waited decades in order to see this character come to life on the big screen, but you're not doing the character, you're doing your version of it, and it's not the actual character. I get why people get mad at that kind of stuff, but I don't know. Anyway, I've been ranting and raving for the last half hour. Anthony Mackie, I think that's the final nail. There's going to be people who are going to go see it. It's Marvel. It's a superhero movie. I'm going to go see it anyway. I don't think anybody with a YouTube channel that's even adjacent to comics is not going to see this, because it becomes like Pavlov's dog. You know, you hear comic book movie, comic book TV show, and you kind of start salivating because you got to watch it in some capacity in order to be able to talk about it. Now, there are some I've managed to escape, or I'll maybe watch 1 or 2 episodes. I still haven't finished Creature Commandos. It was good. It was just I wasn't motivated to continue, you know, and I like James Gunn and I love Creature Commandos. Got myself a first appearance, and I've got the trade paperback on my shelf here. It's just I haven't been going into it. I refused to watch season 2 and 3 of What If because season 1 was so fucking horrible. There are some I've missed, but for the most part, when you do something like this, you feel compelled to watch it. So I'm going to watch Captain America and the Falcon, and most likely I'll do a live stream after. And I hope that I like it, but I got to tell you, more and more I hear about it. No, FRAGMINION, what's up? Oh, hold on. Sorry, the soft topic, but I rarely communicate with you because you're busy. I dropped some suggestions in the comments. The silver. Okay, sure. Yeah. And hey, I get it. And by the way, Henry, you've been around to know that we put up a topic and it goes wherever we want it to go. That's one thing I like about this. It's more like a conversation than a structured live stream. Makes it a little harder if I want to break these down into more digestible segments, but yeah, I dig on talking about anything, man. Let's see. I'm just tired of the sympathetic villain trope. I know, right? Don't you want a bad guy? I mean, you know, I'm one of the few people who liked the Joker too, but I would have liked to have seen a bad guy. I want to see evil incarnate. You know, I think Wes Snipes should have let Marvel go bankrupt. I mean, look at what Marvel did to Blade 3 and Blade TV show. They signed like Blade. Yeah, I remember being in the theater watching Blade 3, and I thought, this is a great video game. Because it really did seem like that. Here's the driving section. Here's the sewer section. Here's the, you know, and it was just from boss battle to boss battle. I was like, okay, this movie sucks. You know what I wanted? I wanted the movie to just ignore Blade and go and be, what were they called? The Blood Pack or whatever it was. Anyway, I like the Marvel Zombies What If, but that was it, says Dark Admiral. I kind of want to go back. I'm thinking maybe I was too hard on it. I kind of want to go back and check this out again. There's a reason he sits in front of that big window. What, this one? That's because this is where we decided it would be better. But I think actually the living room would have been a better spot for me to do this. They should reveal Donald Trump as the new Captain America where he tries to take over the world. The Blade TV series did sideline Blade for most of the show. I never saw it. That's one of the ones I've never seen, but I guess that's pre-YouTube, so I don't know. Go figure. Of the ones, it's like I never saw season 2 and 3 of Legion, even though I loved the first season. I only watched the first 2 episodes of Cloak and Dagger, even though I love Cloak and Dagger, got a statue and everything. The Thor episode of What If was dumb fun. I hated that one. I hated it. One thing, it's also why I don't like Marvel What Ifs. Marvel What Ifs, the whole conceit of the book was that it was supposed to be you have a story from Marvel and it goes to a certain point and then you've got the fork in the road, and this is the one that Marvel Comics took, so we're going to go see what happens when it takes this one. In one episode, you have to believe that what was it, Killmonger is just over the hill where Tony Stark got blowed up, got the shrapnel in his chest. Okay, if that's the case, and at that time he was an American soldier, why didn't he save or try to save Tony Stark as he was being kidnapped? Or why didn't he follow him to find out where he was kidnapped to? You know, it's a ridiculous, it doesn't fit the premise. In one episode, because Janet Van Dyne died. Oh, goodness gracious. Giant Man, Ant-Man, original. I hate it when this happens. Anyway, he goes crazy, and instead of going after S.H.I.E.L.D. and all them, he kills the original Avengers. Why? He never met them. He knows that they had nothing to do with Janet Van Dyne's death, and yet they're the ones he kills. It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous premise. Hank Pym, thank you very much. That's the way the mind don't work, you know? But yeah, What If was not good, and the first season wasn't good, but I'm willing to go back and give it another try. In all honesty, you want to watch? HBO has all of the seasons of Super Friends on it now, so I was thinking about that. I would love to get the DVDs, but I kind of want to watch those because I haven't watched those in decades. I have a feeling I'm going to go, oh my God, I loved this as a kid. And that's true. I loved Super Friends as a kid. That, and I would love to rewatch Thundar the Barbarian. Haven't seen that in forever. Herculoids and such like that. Go back to the nostalgia days. That would be kind of cool. But I don't know. This Marvel, and you know what? I feel like this is sort of a darkening. You guys know that if you've been around, you know that just a few years back, I would be like, hey guys, don't stop yet. There's still good comics out there. There's still good Marvel. There's still good DC. You just have to look for it. And, you know, I was very positive about things, and I've become more cynical than, Eric. I've become more cynical than VENKMAN and all of them. I don't trust the new stuff anymore. And plus, I've got way too much old stuff that I bought, and because I do that. Even though I've got trade paperbacks on the shelf I haven't read, I'll still go, ooh, I need this trade paperback. you know, I'll pick up more that I haven't read. So I don't know. Let's see. Wendy and Marvin. Even I can't stand that much nostalgia cringe. Yeah, that go figure. I did, however, I did a couple of years back. Oh my gosh, actually, it's more than a decade because I was on. I did a lot of reviews and such for what is that, Comic Vine, and I watched and I reviewed the Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, and yeah, so I actually watched all of them. I say recently, but it really was a decade and a half, maybe decade ago. And those are fun. I mean, that holds up. It is stupid. It is silly. It's got 1980s animation. So it's a little bit stilted now, but it is truly a lot of fun. I'm with you. In the new comics do not appeal to me as much as the old stuff. Not at all. You know, me and Dalton, maybe later we might do a reading of not Night Watch. What is it? I got it right here. Goodness gracious. Night Force. You know, I've got it coming up on the auction, and I thought it might be fun to do a couple of videos about the comic books. When we do the auction, we sell them based on the story rather than, oh, this is going to make you a ton of money and it's a 9 point something or other. And I got to tell you, I don't remember ever reading this book. I love the art. The art looks great on this thing, you know. So I thought it might be fun to check out. Might be fun to take a look at. What was I getting on about this? Oh, yeah. I mean, never read it. Or at least I might have read it, but I don't remember it. You know, I mean, after you read so many comics for 40, 50 years now, it's some things just kind of fall by the wayside. It's like reading, if you read some of the older stuff you haven't visited in a long time, it's almost like reading it all over again. I'm guilty of buying more with plenty of unread, says Dark Admiral. Yeah, right. If I turn the camera, you just get to see how freaking messy my house is. My wife hates doing that, but I've got Marvel Essentials, Captain America 1 through 4. I've got Doctor Strange 1 through 3, both Moon Knights, Power Man, and Iron Fist, the entire run of Essentials. I haven't read the Rampaging Hulks, Spider-Man Volume 1 through 3, Spider-Woman 1 and 2. I want to get Dazzler. I've got a ton of freaking Showcase. I love the DC Showcase. Let me get rid of this here. Just as far as unread, the entire run of Grant Morrison's Justice League. I haven't read that in freaking forever. So I starting at the A's. You know what? I should do little reviews if I'm reading them, right? Do something with content. And I might just hold it up and here's the pictures, kids. Go read this one, you know. That's Gene Colan art, I can tell, says Henry. I love the fact that you can do that. I am not that person. I wish I was, but for my entire life, unless it's somebody obvious, like I could tell Humberto Ramos or Riley Rosmo, John Byrne, Jack Kirby. I can't tell people who don't have an obvious style. Frank Miller, okay, fine. But yeah, they're just some Steve Buscema. Not my, I love it when I see it. Gene Colan's the same. It's just, I don't notice a lot of styles unless they're extreme one way or the other, good or bad. I think that making a video to preview the books coming up in the auction is a good idea. I hope that it helps you. Well, thank you. I did put the unboxing in the thing, the hello, how are you? This is the channel box. I can't tell if real or AI now. Wait, me? I don't know what that means there, but yeah, and I just think it's something I want to do. Like I was talking to him, and I want to show these off. This is Beautiful Stories for Ugly Children. These are only dollar books when I sell them, and I think it's a lot of it. It's going to turn people off is the text and the one picture, because these really are like comic books, but it's such an oddball thing. This was such, to me, this is such an outlier of comics. because I think it really tried to do something with story, you know, that you don't see in a lot of other books. So I want to kind of do that. I want to show off the Flash TV special that I've got. I want to show off the treasuries and such. So there you go. Oh, the art. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, by the way, with the AI, some of the covers I'm convinced they're just way too off, you know. At first I liked it, but then it hello again. I got to go back to work, says Joe. Have a good day. You too. As a matter of fact, I'm going to call it in just a second here as well, because like I said, me and Dalton might get together and do a video. And in all honesty, I've got some nachos that are calling my name. Can't retain this kind of body without an intake of nachos on a regular basis. Collecting books is different for me because I draw the books I gravitate towards are artist based. That's how I learned to tell the difference. I've always been a writer's guy, you know. I've always early it dawned on me that it isn't the art that's keeping me in a book, it's the writing, you know. You can have, like, Image Comics, by the way, sealed that deal, because a lot of those early Image sucked. They were pretty, but they sucked. And I remember praising Savage Dragon, but I got this bento box. It was you remember when we were buying subscription boxes? This one was comic book trade paperbacks. And I got Savage Dragon in it and reread it. And I was very excited because I remember loving Savage Dragon. I read it. It sucked. And that's just told me, you know, art might get you in, but, you know, it don't make you stay there. Dan Slott's Spider-Man may have Alex Ross covers on it, but it's got Dan Slott's writing. And the only time I've ever read him where I was like, oh, wow, that's great, was She-Hulk. And I kind of want to go over She-Hulk, see if I'm remembering things wrong. Welcome to the England Teen Zone. DC has some nice art now, but not keen on Absolute or Ultimate Marvel. Michael Hart, I read that Absolute Batman. I don't get it. I mean, it's not horrible, but I don't get it. People are praising that shit. No. Poor Batman doesn't make sense. When he bursts out of a garage in a modified dump truck, where are you getting your money, bro? You know, there are people who are struggling on the salaries of the jobs that he keeps, you know, and he's sitting there billing himself as Batman. A rich Batman makes sense because he can afford all the time. He can afford all the toys. Poor Batman, no, that doesn't make sense. Let's see. Most of my favorite characters in books don't get the good artists. So, yeah, I'm a writer guy, says Fragminion. Have a good one, Dark Admiral. With the new technology, fancy paper, computer coloring, can't touch the old Mike Grell Legion of Superhero stuff. Not much can, Henry. Not much can. By the way, not the Mike Grell stuff, but I started rereading the Legionnaires, the 90s run. I've got the trade paperbacks, so I haven't read these in years. Let me check this out. They're just so much fun. They are so much fun. Dark Admiral saying, remember to smash the like button. Please do that. That would truly help. Even if you don't mind, put a comment or two about something maybe you want to talk about or whatever as the video gets posted. That would help the replay. Poor Batman is a guy like Wild Dog, gets all of his stuff from a sporting goods store. Or the villains. Like, I don't mind if you have a poor Batman that helps himself to whatever cash is laying around from the crime that he stops. You know, I get that. That's how he can fund it. so long as he's not actively trying to steal it. But he, you know, I get it. Anyway, guys, like I said, I'm going to call it here. You kids have a great day. Tonight, we're doing a cover ranking of the original Avengers, the first 12 Avengers books. I gathered them up, some good, some bad. It's going to be a lot of fun. And just keep an eye out for books about the auction, or videos about the auction books, because we're going to be doing that as well. Thank you very much for hanging out with me, hearing me rant. Feel free to tell me how you disagree with me in the comments below. And as always, thank you very, very much for watching. Have a good day.